In Albion Online, there is a plethora of mobs you can encounter, from big people, big booby people, and expensive. And among these mobs, there's one called the Shadow Mask, which is probably the hardest non-Avalonian boss in the entirety of Albion. Many speak of this monster in infamy, from how hard this mob was to fight and how hard it was paying off the repair bills. But who exactly is the Shadow Mask? Is he just some weirdo that's really good at killing people? Or is there something more to this heretic than we thought? Let's find out. So first, let's talk about the Shadow Mask's monster faction, the Heretics. The Heretics, TLDR, were the old expeditioners who explored the land of Albion. The king of the time was very cheap and sent mostly male criminals to explore the land of Albion. They were very ill-equipped, and plus that with the Morgana cultists, giants, and deadly wildlife that inhabited the island, at the time, it just drew the Heretics, or the old expeditioners, insane, causing them to split up into their own little factions and live in caves. Some had tried to recreate the magic the giants and the cultists were using, but doing so caused them to grow more insane. With this, it made the older explorers overall a lot more violent, and just practically reject the old world. Now back onto the Shadow Mask. So what's his deal? Well, I have two theories. My first theory, you see, one thing I didn't mention earlier is how the Heretics got their name. In the middle of the whole shebang, there was a man named Gibson. This guy was one of the expeditionary leaders, and one night, he claimed to hear voices and left the group to return a changed man. He claimed himself to be a heretic, whatever that's supposed to mean in that context. And over the time, the old expeditionary team just adopted that name. Now, how does this relate to the Shadow Mask, however? Well, first, I'd like to clarify that this dude, Gibson, left his group and went by himself through the wilderness of Albion for God knows how long. It's either because of sheer luck or skill that he just survives. Or was it? I think that it was because of the voices he had survived. You see, the chances of him surviving were really low. For one, the inhabitants of Albion are very, very hostile. And two, the government didn't give them shit. It just handed them a toothpick and a garbage cover for equipment. And with that in mind, it just seems impossible for him to survive unless if he had, like, a guide of some sort. And that's what I think happened. I think that the reason for his survival is because of the voices in his head. And I think this is the same thing that's happening with the Shadow Mask. Warning, listening to the voices in your head will not turn you into a cracked up power cowboy. This is only just speculation. So let's say a heretic is being guided by the voices to learn more about Albion, to learn about the wilderness and how to survive and shit, and maybe some stuff about magic, making them more powerful than before, allowing them to rival the dangers of the bloodthirsty cultists and giants, however at the cost of their sanity. And that's what I think is happening. My second theory is probably the most realistic one, or probably the one that's actually right, or the most likely true. The Shadow Masks are just people who are just really dedicated to magic. They just went further than the rest, and just used this newfound magic to conquer the land of Albion and steal a fuck ton of stuff. And yeah, that's kind of it. This was my very first Albion Online Theory video, and it was kind of fun speculating on all of this. I found the mobs of Albion to be very interesting, and I look forward to making more stuff like this in the future. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all later. Don't forget to like and sub, and comment what you thought of this video, or anything you'd like to add. I'd really appreciate it.